Have you ever been part of a team or an organization that was just struggling? They just weren't really energized to get the job done. And then had a new team member join and everything changed. The transition from one to the other is amazing sometimes to watch and see what the difference one person can make in an organization. Today, we're going to talk about finding renegades, the benefits, and more on this episode of today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Da. Look at me doing a spin.
Doing your happy dance out there. What the heck?
I'm out and about. Sun's hitting me just right. It's beautiful out. It's a great day, Tom. How about you?
I'm doing really well. So I'm, for the most part, although my office now has some different smells in it than that I'm dealing with. So for those of you who don't know, I had a little sewage issue, not last night, the night before.
There's no such thing as a little sewage issue, Tom.
You know, you're right about that, because as soon as our show ended, probably 15 minutes after that, the toilet erupted one more time. And
I've been telling you for a long time, more fiber in your diet.
Thanks. It's a helpful tip now, come on. Anyhow, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast. Each week, we have a conversation around a topic. This week's topic, as I mentioned at the opening, is finding renegades. And today, we're going to talk about the benefits. Before we get to that, though, I wanted to just share that we welcome your thoughts and ideas as we go through that. If you'd like to share anything, please feel free to put it in the comments. It always adds great value to our show. And then at the end of the episode, Bob and I will each offer our one thing, our today's antidote, that we hope will help you today, or maybe some other time down the road, as you try to take your next step along your own unique pathway to success. We kick off each morning, though, with our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today besides the beautiful day?
I'm going to celebrate all the parents who are getting to the point in the school year where they feel like they survived another school year with their kids. It's a lot of work, especially if you're working and you're trying to manage your kids. I'm sitting outside a Celebrate, actually. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm seeing parents drop off kids, and they've been dropping off kids for the last 45 minutes. And I was thinking, I don't have children, so it's always interesting to me that someone gets up, gets a kid ready for school, gets themselves ready for work, takes a kid someplace, and then goes to work. I celebrate those people. I don't know how anyone has enough capacity in their brain, in their body, to do those two very important tasks in a day, every day. In Maryland, it's 180 days of school. That's a lot of days. So now I know there are parents going, oh, really? School's easy. It's the summer, and keeping them busy over the summer is actually harder. We'll celebrate that in August.
That's fair. Very fair.
What are you celebrating? I think I know.
What do you think?
I thought you might celebrate the fact that you have a little engagement in your family.
Yes. And I shared that with Bob before we got started. I forgot to tell him Monday and Tuesday. So
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. Well, remember, Monday and Tuesday I was dealing with some issues. So it's
you like this girl though, right? This isn't your way of putting it off or avoiding.
Not at all. No, we like her very much. So over the weekend, our son got engaged to a lovely woman who's actually from Iowa. They went to school together at Catholic University, and so we are excited. He's our youngest, so that's a little, it's one of those things like, wow, how can I really be old enough to have a kid who's engaged? And
I can't be your youngest kid much more.
Correct. And at the same time, we are very happy for Keegan and Isabel, and we look forward to whenever the celebration date of their wedding will be. But we are happy to celebrate with them, and I'm happy to celebrate this morning their engagement.
Awesome. It's so much fun to see families just foster new families and go down that path.
Absolutely.
How old is your youngest son?
Oh, he's 22.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What day is today? He's 22. Wait a minute.
Will he turn 23 this week?
Yes. No, next week. A week
Next
from today.
Okay. All right. Nice.
I should have waited till the 22nd to celebrate his birthday and his engagement, but
we can come back around to it. We celebrate every day.
That's fair.
It's part of the fun.
Lots of things to celebrate, correct?
Indeed. Always.
All right. So, Bob, do you want to kick us off on this topic about finding renegades and the sorry. Do you have a celebration for our renegades?
I do not. I did not plan one today.
Should we read?
We could. Sure, go for it.
Should we pick what is today?
Pick 22. 22 because your son is still 22. Tom is opening the book, The Renegade Way, which he wrote a beautiful foreword to. And I know the author. He's a nice guy. He knows a little bit, not a whole lot. And what's on page 22, Tom?
On page 22, that's fine. When you look at the people who move easily into entrepreneurship, they often have backgrounds involving business. Their parents or grandparents owned their own company. They worked their way through high school or college while working at a family business. I see this pattern again and again. Those people have a huge advantage when it comes to starting a business. I like it. You know what I like about that is it's just the reminder that there are pieces of our lives that often come back around to benefit us. You know, and I would say that, you know, for my life, most of my life, athletics was a big part of it, especially growing up. And then it disappeared for a while. And then I was able to come back and be a part of it because it was something that I had a passion for. And remember, just like people who decide to start their own businesses are usually other people who had, or whose parents did the same. Did your parents start their own business? They didn't, correct?
No, they did not. They were teachers.
Yeah.
Hence my appreciation for teaching.
And my parents.
And that comes back around all the time.
Certainly. And while my parents had other jobs, they also started 2 businesses. You know, and I never really thought about that as much as I've transitioned from working for someone else to having my own. That was the example that I saw and found from them. And I, you know, I saw the challenges and the benefits. It's so fascinating. I had never thought about that until just now. So interesting. You never know what has gone on in your past that will come back, that might become a huge part of your future.
Wow. That's a chilling thought sometimes, Tom, but I'll keep moving.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So let's dive into it. Finding renegades, the benefits. You want to kick us off or do you want me to?
Go ahead. You seem to be rolling.
So it was interesting when I started thinking about this and started thinking about the intro. When I first looked at it, I was like, the benefits. And then I started thinking about what happens when you infuse someone into an organization.
Nice word.
And I remember I was on a team at an organization that was doing okay. Although I think we were very much what we had always done. And I think when we had an opportunity to be unbelievably vibrant with lots of changes that were coming, and I'm just not sure we were leveraging those changes the way we could. And we brought in a new, not head of the organization, but head of a side of the organization. And it was almost like flipping a light switch. Like the energy picked up, the creative ideas picked up. I think this person just brought with him the sense that everybody had things that they could share. And it wasn't just, okay, just keep redoing what we've always done. And I think that when I look back at what happened from the time that person joined the team until they left, and I think we'll talk about that tomorrow, the difference that it made in the organization and what we were accomplishing. And I think the way people felt about the work that they were doing. I know for me it did. Like I was at a point, I had just been there about a year, and I was at a point where there were some things I was really struggling with that I didn't see when I was going through the interview process. And, it was challenging. And not that there weren't future challenges. They were just different because there was a different energy and opportunity to do some things differently. And so bringing that one person in who definitely had renegade qualities made a significant difference.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No.
I was going to say, and it doesn't have to be the leader all the time.
Correct.
I've been in a couple of organizations where I know I came in and infused it with a new energy based on some of my background in one case. And I think another case based on my passion. And in a third case based on what they needed, the missing pieces. And I provided those missing pieces. And I've been in other situations where I've been in organizations where they bring someone else in and they add a piece or two to the puzzle. And I like to think of it as a puzzle. You've got this team that's trying to work and achieve some goals, and you have different pieces of the puzzle. Tom does this, Bob does this person does this, that person does that. When you can identify some of those things that are not in that puzzle, that can really lead to the opportunity to find renegades. And I think renegades also are the people that probably see the puzzle pieces that are missing in the process and try to help that along. I've gone into roles where it's like, boy, these guys are really missing an outward face of the organization. I can do that. That's not hard for me. This is an organization, I worked in one organization doing technical editing. They were the driest people on earth. After a couple weeks, I was losing my mind. It was so dry, so boring. So Friday afternoon at 3:00, I would do like comedy about the work that we were doing. And it started to become a thing. Every Friday for like 15 minutes, I would just break up the monotony with some humor. And it wasn't great humor, but it was so different. And you could see the group starting to loosen up. You saw a camaraderie develop, and you saw a real opportunity for them to actually collaborate. And I know it's because I pushed them in a direction, just like this doesn't have to be the most boring, somber place in the world. And I only stayed at that job for 6 months. But when I told the person that I was working for that I was leaving, she said, "You're not the best technical editor. You're good, but you're not the best technical editor. But you really brought something to this office that we're going to miss." It was an intangible. And when they interviewed me, they didn't say, "Hey, dude, can you do stand-up comedy at 3:00 every Friday?" It just was me seeing that if they could loosen up, it would become more fun and it would become more enjoyable. And it became more collaborative. It's like, hey, I got a problem over here. And you could actually stop someone else, because up to that point, it was like, shh, don't talk. We're editing.
Yeah, it's an interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk about this tomorrow, the challenges of what that creates. But I think that
I certainly created challenges in the process. There's no doubt.
Why does that not shock me at all?
For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right?
And I think the thing is that if you go out looking for something unique, it changes your mindset as well. I think so often that if, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, is that if you just pull out the old job description and move forward with it, not a whole lot is likely to change. You're going to bring in someone who is very similar to the atmosphere that you already have. If you are open to the idea of, I need to find something different. I need to, and as a way to infuse into this team a different set of knowledge, experience, or perspective. And I think that sometimes we think we are doing that. Well, okay, we'll just think differently during the search.
Well, or this person has red hair. We've never had a red-haired person work for us.
Correct.
Covered. All right, that's our difference. We're good. I think we tend to go that way. I remember a job search where it's like, well, we never had someone who taught at a community college come work for us. And that was a big that was a big shift for them. It's like, well, actually, I've taught at community colleges. And they were like, really? Like, yeah, I didn't put it on my resume, but I have. And
Yeah, I think
we pacify ourselves because we don't want to take that real leap, because you run a risk. We'll talk tomorrow about some of the risks, but it's not a guarantee that you bring this person in who's more passionate than anyone else, that just they have that X factor. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews with companies to hire, and there's just something about a person who comes in really passionate, really excited, really has done their homework, and that person may not have the technical expertise down the line, but you can teach technical stuff. You can't teach passion. You can't teach someone who's willing to question the routine stuff that you've always done.
No, I would agree. I mean, I think that's the way that when you choose to go out and find a renegade, I think not only does your organization benefit, I think you do, because you have started down that path of, I'm going to look at things a little bit differently. I'm going to take a different perspective on this. I am going to think about what other knowledge or experience that I don't have that could be beneficial as a part of, whatever it is where we're going to plug this person into. And I think that it starts with being open to make that change. And so while I think there is the benefit to the team or the organization or wherever, there's also the benefit to the individual who says, it's, again, they've become now, even if they weren't, they've now become a renegade because they are willing to say, the way we've always done it, the status quo, and hasn't worked. We need to think of something different. And even if it has worked, how do we keep it from not being stale? I think that there are benefits. It's funny, like things come up. Did you ever watch the show The Intern?
Is that the one with Luke Wilson and?
No, it's the one with.
Oh, it's the one with Bob De Niro.
And, Robert De Niro
and Hathaway.
Yes.
Bob and I are close, so I go by Bob De Niro.
Look at you. Wow, I didn't know that. He was one of your close friends. Here was a story, for those who haven't watched it, of a man whose husband died.
And his wife.
I'm sorry, man. Right, a wife.
That's a different version.
Correct. So this older man's wife dies, and he feels lost because he's out of his routine. And there's and the other side of the story is this young entrepreneurial woman who's from the scratch built this business into a booming enterprise, and they start looking for interns, and they think, well, let's look for senior interns, because they were an office of, I think it was millennials at the time.
Yep. And she's got some leadership challenges.
She has some leadership challenges because she's trying to do it all.
And the company's also outgrown her expertise.
Correct. And so it was interesting to watch a more experienced person come into that situation as an intern. It's the complete role reversal of what you expect, right? It's usually like, okay, we're bringing in this young intern to be a part of this older so that they can gain our wisdom and whatever. And I just think it was interesting to watch. Obviously, it's a movie, how everyone around benefited. And the culture started to change because he did things differently that impacted them. They did things differently that impacted him. And in the end, it brought a lot to the organization. It dramatically changed it. And I think those are the things. Not only did it change the organization, I think if you go back to Anne Hathaway's character, it changed her personally as well. Mm-hmm. She started looking at things differently. And so I guess I'm going to go with, if you don't mind, my one thing is
go for it.
One of the benefits of trying to find renegades is that it changes your organization when you do. I think the piece that people don't expect is how much it changes them.
The person
who has gone searching for them, because they have started to look at things with a brand new perspective. And are being impacted by this other person's knowledge and experience. And so clearly what was real for them was greatly changing. And I think that's the hidden benefit of when we go looking for renegades.
I'm going to take things for a couple minutes, Tom, in a little different direction, if you allow me, which is this isn't required only of organizations. This can be if you're a solopreneur. This could be that you could go out and find people when you're looking for people to engage with. We often, hang around the like-minded people. I find more and more that when I'm talking to people who are different than me, they have different backgrounds, they have different perspectives, they approach things differently. That tends to really help me in what I'm trying to do in business. So it's not just organizational, but we find people to hang around with. Who do you have coffee with? If you have coffee with the people that say exactly, oh, Tom, you're so amazing, you're so amazing, it gets kind of routine. But if you go to coffee with someone, I don't know, in some ways, me, I guess, you and I had coffee a million times, we always pushed each other. Like, hey, what's really going on? Oh, wow. Have you thought about this? I think that really stirs the pot. And that's another way to find renegades and bring renegades into more of a entrepreneurial environment. If you're working by yourself or you have a small team, it doesn't just have to be your employees. It could be anyone.
Sure. I agree. I think that's fair. I think when we bring other people into our lives that offer a different perspective, knowledge, and experience, it changes who we are. So
I would say it enhances who we are because it either reaffirms, hey, this is how I want to be in, this is what I feel I want to be right now, or, wow, I aspire to be like that person.
Is enhancing a judgment?
You and your judgments.
That's why I like change.
Okay.
We're not.
I will
judging.
concede the point.
You don't have to concede the point. I'm just sharing it, and
I understand that there's now a game going on among our listeners that listen most frequently. The over/under on how many times I will use a word that you stop me on.
Really? What's the over? Is that per show or per week or what's the...
So far it's been per week, but it could be per show.
Well, I actually am pretty good because there is a word that you use an awful lot that I let it go. I think you know.
Well, why would you do that? But why would you do that? See what I did there?
Yes. Yes, indeed. And again, that's just me. And I think I forget it was yesterday or Monday that those words that we choose, I've really started to focus on them a little bit, and maybe too much. But that that's okay. That's why I change.
Focus on trying to be witty and keep this light. I let you focus on the words.
Got it. Well, that's fair. I like that. I'm sure you had that planned out all along, all 602 episodes. You definitely started this with the things. You're going to be the witty banter guy, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think it's held true?
I do, don't you?
I don't know.
I think I shake it up more than you do.
Differently.
There you go. It works.
It worked. All right, everyone.
At least for us.
Yes. Well, yes. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of our show today. If you have one thing that you'd like to share, your antidote for today, please feel free to put it in the comments. Whether you are watching us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or
LinkedIn Live.
You just woke up all the kids who were taking an early nap because their parents got them up at 5 a.m. to get ready to go to celebrate.
Oh.
Anyhow, please feel free to share your comments in those, or your thoughts in the comments of those social medias. We'd be happy to reply. We love hearing your antidotes or just your thoughts on the show. What is changing for you? What's real for you? If by chance you are listening to the podcast, sadly, there is no place to add comments, yet you can go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and join us there. If you're not yet a member, you can just ask to join. You can be a part of it. And all week we are sharing information, having conversations around finding renegades. And you can share your thoughts and ideas there because we know that when you add your value, what's real for you, others benefit. And that group is a group of people who are trying to find their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So we look forward to seeing you inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegade in you. And if you know a parent or you are a parent, take a moment to celebrate that you've gotten through another school year. Bravo.
What if the school year's not over yet?
It's close. Most of the people I've talked to, it's either this is last week or they ended a week or two ago.
It's because we live in Maryland. There are people who watch this in other parts of the country who are still in school.
No way.
Way.
Do I have to withdraw my comment and start all over? Do we have to go back to the beginning?
No, it's just what was real for you, which is okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody, go out and make it a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.